Hello, everybody. It's Yvette and Andrea back for another Live at Gotham Quilts, which is the new name for what used to be called Tuesdays in the Shop. Oh, look at this little nose. My dog. This is my dog, Bella. She's a lovey. Since it's me on camera instead of Jen today, I should show my dog, right? Since she's always
Yeah.
showing my dog. This is Bella. Um, we're Gotham Quilts, and we're back with another installment. Oh, my goodness. Ooh. Uh, Today we're going to be talking about Christmas stuff, which, I mean, it's September. It's kind of not really Christmas season, but for those of us who are going to sew stuff for Christmas, do need a minute to actually make the stuff, right? We all know quilts don't get made in an hour. So if you're going to decorate for Christmas and you want to make stuff yourself, you need some time.
Yep.
So we just started pre-sales for a new product. But actually I was thinking, do you want to show the old thing first?
The skirt?
No, the this. Yeah.
Sure.
So this designer, she's called Robin J Designs, and then this product is called Mini Makes, and we've had these for a minute, I don't know, a year or so.
Maybe about a year.
And what she did is, here's one of these samples that Andrea made. It is a frame. This is a wooden frame, and the kits look like what Andrea's holding up. They come with the foundation paper piecing pattern that goes inside, and the wooden frame, and the instructions for putting it together. When these first went on the market, all of us lost our minds, and we immediately ordered like every design she had. And we do have these on the website. If you haven't yet gotten a pair, I'll show you, scale wise, they're pretty big.
They're a little bit big, but
So if you're into earrings, you're gonna like this is perfect for Raina, I think, when she used to wear those earrings, right? So yeah, Andrea made me this one in my colors. It's really cute. Well, she made me have a pair, just to be clear.
no, just one.
Not just one earring. And the reason we're talking about this has nothing to do with Christmas. But for this year, the same designer has launched, or will be launching in October, this same concept, but to make Christmas ornaments. Jen says, hi, Bella, in the comments. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us. So let me share my screen so you all can see what I'm talking about. This is the one I want to share. So there are 3 designs, and this is what the packaging looks like. We don't physically have these yet, right? Because they haven't actually come out yet. So it's the same idea as the ones Andrea is holding up, where you get a pack that includes the frame. In this case, it has twine to hang as opposed to the little hoop that goes in your ear on the earrings, right? The foundation paper so that you can stitch the fabric, and the instructions. The only thing that isn't in the kit that you need is fabric, thread, and some glue to put together the frame.
Mm-hmm.
I really like
such a small amount of fabric. Like,
yeah,
we all have enough fabric to do these. We considered putting together kits, but it was like it's like that much fabric. So
what
that
I
would
think is
be
so
kind of
funny is that someone clearly asked her, like, how much fabric am I going to need? Because this literally says 1 inch wide in varying lengths.
Yeah,
so
it's
a very small amount of fabric.
not a lot.
Yep. So I really like how in the picture, so on the cover, it's this version. So you can see, oops, sorry, that's not what I meant to click. I meant to click on this. So you can see the design, the foundation paper piece design inside it. And everyone knows I love flying geese, so I really like this one. But she showed it in a different colorway too. So you could really coordinate, like maybe you have a Christmas tree that has a theme, right? Like, I don't know, people are doing like all silver, or I saw a lot of pink this year for Christmas, like hot pink, like Barbie hot pink. So when you pick your fabrics, you can make it look like whatever you want it to look like, which I think the pictures really drive that home, the fact that it's mocked up in 2 different colorways, right?
It makes me think of, so my parents both went to Ohio State, and the colors are scarlet and gray, and they have everything scarlet and gray, and I could make them a scarlet and gray ornament.
Yeah, I think they'd like that. And the other nice thing they did is they put Merry Christmas on the back of it. So I thought that was kind of cute. The earrings don't have anything on the back when you look at the back.
No, they're just plain.
But because these are bigger, there's room for that. So that's the first design. They call it a bauble. Is that how you say that word?
I think so.
Bauble. The second design is a snowflake. And it actually is, this is the biggest one, 5.25 inches by 4.5 inches. So there's a bigger picture of that. The fabrics they used in this sample look like they're kind of shiny, which is interesting. That could be an option if you want the inside to be like use a metallic or use, I don't know, velvet or something like that, right?
Velvet might be tricky just because of the thickness.
If it's thick, right? But you can get thinner, I think. No?
I mean, you could give it a try.
Yeah. And then this one, so like this one, I think is not quilting cotton, but this one definitely is quilting cotton. I'm pretty sure I even recognize this background one. And then on the back of it, it again says Merry Christmas. And then the third design is actually a Christmas tree, which I think is kind of meta, like a Christmas tree ornament that is a Christmas tree. Like it would be funny if like the thing, maybe you use Christmas tree fabric in the piecing, and then it's like Christmas tree, Christmas tree, Christmas tree, Christmas tree. And what I like about this one is you see how it has those diagonals. And this mock-up, it's white. So it like you could even embroider on top of it and add even more details, especially because of those lines. Like I see that and I think like, oh, it could have like French knots on it or stuff hanging down. You could put sequins, right?
Because it kind of looks like that's a garland going around the tree. Yeah, you could. That would be. I didn't even think about that. That would be so cute to do a little bit of embroidery before you glued it together.
Yep. And the other thing I think for these is this is a really great gift for another quilter.
Yes.
So because it's a very small project, it's not a big commitment, right? Like you would never gift another quilter like a queen size quilt kit, right? Because then it's like you're making too many assumptions. Right. But if you know that they have a Christmas tree or that like they care about Christmas, this is a very small gift that it could be like, I don't know if it's small enough to be a stocking stuffer. I guess it depends on your family, but it's a pretty safe gift to give to someone who is a quilter who does Christmas. And I like this alternate colorway that they show here because it's not traditional. This is like a rainbow looking one. It just shows you really can personalize this for whatever your preference is, or if you're gifting it, the person who's receiving it can customize it for whatever they like.
And you might be intimidated by these tiny pieces, but it's not. If you've done foundation paper piecing, this is no harder than any other foundation paper piecing. It just goes a lot faster because you're only stitching like a few lines of stitching.
I think it might even be easier because this doesn't have to be perfect, right? Like when you're making a quilt, you really want it to be flat. Well, like this, it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect.
Right. It doesn't have to match up with the next block.
Yes.
Like
exactly.
It's just a standalone thing. It is what it is. And yeah, you don't have to be perfect. And for the ornaments, you only have to make one.
Yeah, that's
for the earrings. Like I knocked out the first one, no problem. And then to make the second one was like, do I want to make the exact same thing again?
Yeah.
But this
how long did it actually take you?
Oh, it didn't take very long.
An hour?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Choosing the colors took longer than it took to make.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can believe that.
for me, that's yeah.
So we've opened up pre-sales for these. Oh, that's funny. I never noticed that there was a Shopify logo on the lower left. If I'm logged in, it doesn't matter. So I'm distracted. We've opened up pre-sales as of yesterday for these kits. And pre-sales close at the end of this month on Monday, September 30th at midnight Eastern time. So you have to get your order in by then so we can place our order at the manufacturer and then it can arrive and we'll ship it to you in October, probably closer to the end of October. But it really depends on how they ship. Their estimated launch day is like October 4th. So the earliest we'd get it would be like the 15th-ish, and then we have to reship it back out to you guys. So yeah, I think they're really cute. And we're offering all 3 designs. And these have walnut. You can see when you look at the cover, it says walnut. So that's the color that the wood is dyed on the outside, so you can have a better idea.
Well, it's the species of wood.
Oh,
so it's the natural color.
It's actually not. So they're
Really?
all eucalyptus wood,
Oh.
but it's dyed with that color on the yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I also thought it was that, and then I actually read the thing, and it's
I guess I should read.
Yeah. So if walnut is like a little bit richer brown.
Yeah, it's a darker.
Yeah, that's what this earring is also. So if that gives you a better idea of what it looks like, the brown color. And because there are 3 designs, we decided to carry all 3. But we also decided to give you all a discount if you want to get all 3. If you pre-order all 3 of them, you see how on the left there's a product that says Ornament Kit Trio. If you order all 3, you get 20% off.
I'm definitely going to make all 3.
I
think they're adorable, and we still, like, every year it's like, I don't have more ornaments than this. Like, the tree looks empty, so I could use some ornaments.
Maybe I should make you some ornaments.
I mean, you could. I could also make them.
Yeah, but are you going to?
Debatable.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about, because last week we did the new roll applique patterns, right? So those letters, like I could make you letters.
Yes, that's true.
Those are fun to make, and they don't take very long. All right. Does anyone have any questions about these ornament kits that we're talking about, or the earring kits like this? Or I'm going to put the QR code up. So if you do want to go check it out, you can scan the QR code that's on the bottom there, and that'll take you straight to the website where I should stop sharing my screen. On the website where the 3 different designs plus the bundle is. Yeah, the packaging is really pretty of those kits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, though especially the one that looks like a
half moon.
Yeah, what is that called?
A half moon, semicircle.
It looks like New York Beauty.
Yes.
Right.
The pattern is basically a New York Beauty. Yes, yeah. And then on the back, she also has different colorways.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So you can see, same with the hexagon. You can see what it would look like in different colors, which is always nice.
What you showing me that just reminded me that if you the customer, like, you wouldn't even need to do the foundation part. You could just put one piece of fabric, like pretend you had some beautiful thing that you really wanted to, maybe you fussy cut right into the frame.
Yeah, the tree you were just talking about. Fussy cut a little tree. So
funny if it was like a tree within a tree within a tree, right? Yeah, and then you don't even have to do any piecing. You could,
Yes, you could absolutely do that. You could just trace the topmost layer with the cutout. You could just trace the inside of that, and then you would know you'd want to cut it a little bit bigger, but that would show you where the edges are, and then that could be fun too. No sewing involved.
Because sometimes, I mean, you know me, sometimes you fall in love with the fabric, and it's like,
sure,
the whole idea was the fabric. It wasn't so much the pattern or the project. It was like, I have to have this fabric, right?
Yes.
Oh, somebody's saying something in chat. Let me check. Oh, Sherry is asking. Hi, Sherry. You're asking if the virtual retreat is included? No, the virtual retreat is a separate item that you are welcome to join and sign up for. Okay, so what else were we going to talk about today?
More Christmas.
Oh, right. Do you want to show? The next thing is our exclusive tree skirt kits. Does anyone make a tree skirt for any other reason than to put under a Christmas tree?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I can't think of a reason, but maybe if you are watching and you can think of another tree skirt use that isn't Christmas, let us know. in general, I think of this as a Christmas tree skirt, but technically it's called the tree skirt pattern. Andrea designed this how many years ago now?
Probably close to 10.
I think so.
Because
Yeah.
this was one of our earliest patterns that we released. So this is a free pattern on our website. And yeah, we've had it available for a long time. And Yvette noticed that it was one of the most downloaded patterns on our website.
Every year.
So she thought, and we did have kits for it originally when it came out originally, with the fabric, with this fabric.
Yeah,
So
that's actually what inspired you to make this pattern,
yes.
right? This fabric.
Yeah, so I needed a tree skirt because I had just moved to a house and we had a Christmas tree for the first time. And it was looking so lonely there with no skirt. So of course I'm not going to go buy a skirt. That would be too easy. And we had this fabric in the shop. This was, I'm going to say this was Jennifer Sampu, but I could be wrong.
Group, maybe?
It might have been.
Yeah, that was from like 20.
But
I think.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. And the fabric was called Candy Stripe. So we named the pattern Candy Stripe Tree Skirt. And I love how it is fussy cutting, but it's like simple fussy cutting to get the stripes to appear to line up. They're not all perfect, but it's close enough. And then on the back, just did different, 2 different colors of red, just to give it a little interesting. And then you get the binding here that also has the stripe. So
it really is reversible.
Yeah, definitely. And I've used both sides. So, every year it's like, which one do we want to use this year? Yeah, totally reversible, totally very simple. You cut out a lot of these wedge shapes, sew them together, and then bind it. This one, you do have to cut your binding on the bias, right, because you are going around a curve. But other than that, like it's very simple. And then you just cut some extra binding to make the ties and make sure that you get them tucked into the binding before you bind it. And then you've got your ties, you've got your tree skirt, super simple, but really pretty.
For your sample, did you do any quilting?
I just did quilting along the
seam.
Yes, exactly. So I sewed about a 1/4 inch on both sides of the seam. That was the only quilting I did. But you could get really creative and do some fun quilting. You could do some hand stitching.
Yeah.
Some embellishment. I think would be really pretty, especially on like the plain side. You could just do both sides plain and just embellish it, which would also be gorgeous. But this fabric is no longer available. It is long gone.
Yeah.
So I was trying to see what other, what other fabrics would look good for tree skirts. And we have a couple different options here. One is this one's called Greenery. So this one, there's no stripes, no fussy cutting required. It's pretty straightforward, but it's a nice classic Christmas. So that's one option. And then this would be one side, and then the other side would just be 2 shades of red. And the next one is what?
Back up one step. What Andrea is showing you are the new kits that she put together to make this tree skirt. So
yes. That fabric, thank you for clarifying. We do have kits now. So one of the kits is the Greenery.
So on the outside, she picked that fabric. On the inside, it's 2 solids for that kit.
So this one I found, I got really excited.
That one is really cool.
So this one is called Red Ribbon. And this one, do you have just the picture of this one of it? Or no?
Yeah. Hold on while I pull it up.
So I thought this was going to be cool, and then I mocked it up on the computer, and it was even cooler than I thought. At first, I did the horizontal stripes, but then I did these stripes, and I thought that looked really cool. So
and actually, let's talk about the idea of horizontal versus vertical, right? Like any fabric that is directional, does it need to be one directional or 2 directional?
Well, it depends what you're doing.
Yeah. So where I was going with that is in this mock-up that Andrea showed, the direction that the wedges are cut on the stripe is the opposite of the sample that she physically has in front of her, where the stripes are going horizontally,
One
therefore go like around the tree. When you are cutting the fabric, you cut wedges, right? So either you can cut those wedges with the stripes going up and down, or you can cut it with the stripes going sideways, or technically you could cut it on the diagonal too. Okay, I'm going to make hand.
You could.
Again.
So yeah, so what she was just saying, so this is the template piece that is included in the pattern. So if you wanted the stripes to run up and down, like the picture we just showed, you would cut them like this. If you wanted the stripes to go around the circle, you would cut it like this.
Yep.
And the nice thing about this stripe in particular is it's not straight lines. It isn't going to line up on all the seams, and that's fine. So you don't have to get super picky about how it lines up, because it isn't going to matter.
Right. What would happen if you put it at an angle, like a 45-degree angle?
Then you'd have to get, it
would do a shimmer,
depends on what you're trying to do. You could start creating V's and things like that. That's kind of getting it a little bit more complicated.
Like, you know us, we got to complicate things, right? How many wedges is there total?
There are 18 total wedges.
So that divides.
It requires 2 yards of fabric for one side. So 2 yards of this for one side, and then 1 yard each of 2 different reds for the reverse side. And on the pattern, it includes lines going in both directions to help you line up if you are trying to cut on a stripe. To help you line up with the print on the fabric, so that you can get some of those effects. This one was the red ribbon.
I really like that.
And then my favorite, although I really love the red ribbon, but one of the Deco Frost fabrics, this one is called Icicle, I think. So this one, when I saw it, I really like this print. For one thing, it's very Art Deco-y, hence the name Deco.
It makes me think of Frozen. Like if you were going to do
very much so. It
Frozen
very much
Christmas tree.
Yes. When I saw this collection, when the salesperson brought me this collection a year ago, I was like, "Oh, it's Frozen fabric," and he's like, "Oh, I guess so." Yep. But this one, I really get into the fussy cutting and making things line up and these kind of repeating things. So this one, you really do need to line up on the line as best you can. But then, as you can see, those seams line up, and then it's going to create this, circle kind of going around the skirt as well.
And it sort of is like an ombre.
Yeah, kind of. Because of the way it's printed, you get a band of blue, and then you get more white, and then another band of blue.
Yep.
So this one, it hasn't even been pressed yet. I literally just made it. But
I think could really use some embroidery with like a metallic or something.
Oh, that's true. I think you're probably right. And there's a lot of like dots. It's a little hard to see here, but there's dots and more dots up here. You could do little French knots on all the dots. That would take a while because there are a lot of them. But yeah, there's lots of stuff you could do here. And then there are 2 Deco Frost
let me show
kits.
All the options.
One is Icicle, and I believe its backing is this fabric.
So here's Andrea's wonderful digital mock-ups for all 5 versions of the kit that she's put together. And you'll notice that there's like a section that looks like the tree skirt is folded back, so you can see what the lining fabric is going to be, right?
Exactly. Yes. So that you can see that it's double-sided and what both options will look like.
No. So these are the Deco Frost options.
Mm-hmm.
And then these 3 are the kind of more traditional Christmas, right? With more red.
The 10 stripe one, that one does have hot pink. So it's a red and hot pink stripe, Tula Pink's 10 stripe. So that one, I'm not sure how traditional that is, but it's definitely like on trend with the pinks, and you do still have the red there.
Yeah.
So this
So,
again has the stripes going in both directions.
yeah. So Andrea gave you a digital mock-up if you cut it with the stripes vertical versus if you cut it with stripes horizontal. There's something about this stripe in particular that this makes me dizzy.
Really?
Like, I like this one, and then this one I'm like, oh no, that's too much.
Interesting. Okay, well you have the option of doing either one.
Exactly.
So you can really customize these to your liking, which
Yep.
is nice. And like I said, it is a free pattern, which you can see right there. So if you wanted to make your own with different fabrics, it's 2 yards of the print of a single print, or 1 yard each of 2 prints for the multi back piece.
Layouts, because I don't know what the when I put the thing on the side, it makes us so little, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So it is easy to make yourself if you'd like to pick out your own fabric. It's pretty easy to do that. And I think I made one for my mother-in-law a couple years ago, and I got satin for the reverse, and so that.
Ooh.
And I might have added some linen too, so that it was like shiny and matte. I don't remember, to be honest. There was definitely satin involved, so that it was shiny. But you can really dress velvet. I think would be really pretty too.
Velvet makes me think of Christmas. That texture,
Yes,
exactly,
and that sumptuous fabric would look really nice, I think, in this case.
Jen had said that she was going to make one that she was going to hand quilt, sort of like a Kawandi style, big stitch sort of style. And she was going to do just neutrals. So like a gray on gray stripe or like a beige something stripe. So we'll see what she comes up with.
Right. I can't wait to see what she comes up with. It's not done yet, so we can't show you, but I
started yet.
Yeah, me neither. But I think it's going to be good, whatever it is. And I like the idea too of just neutrals. Yes. And then whatever your decor is, it's going to match. And it's that hygge, the like
we looked it up.
Homey, cozy, that word.
Yep.
That's kind of what neutrals kind of make me think of. And,
and
especially if she's doing Kawandi, because it's so cuddly.
Yeah.
Not that you're really going to cuddle up with your tree skirt, but
right.
You
Which
never
is
know.
Where I was going with that. Did you pre-wash your fabric when you made yours?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because it has run a little bit. Because the cats, of course, they like to drink out of the tree water. And then it gets, it's gotten wet. So there are a couple places where I don't know if it was, got a little bleeding here. I don't know if that was the print or if it was from the linen on the back. I'm guessing it was the linen on the back.
Yeah.
But no, I did not pre-wash it. I'm trying to think if I've washed it since I made it. I don't know, to be honest. But you definitely could.
Yeah, what I was going to say is for everyone watching that is thinking about making this tree skirt, when we're piecing quilts, what we always teach people is that you either pre-wash all the fabric that's going in the top or you pre-wash none of the fabric that's going in the top, right? Because if you mix pre-washed fabric with not pre-washed fabric, when you then wash your finished quilt, the pre-washed stuff is already pre-shrunk and the not pre-washed stuff is not yet pre-shrunk. So then it can be weird, right? Depending on how much quilting you've done, you can end up with like a lumpy quilt, right?
It might work out fine, but it might not.
Right.
And you don't want to take that chance with, something you're putting all that time and effort into. Yeah. So yes, absolutely. If you're mixing content, like I probably should have pre-washed this since the one side is linen and the other side is cotton. I don't think I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah, definitely would be safer to have pre-washed them. Yeah. But I have a feeling I didn't. Maybe I did. Honestly, I can't remember. It's been so long since I made this one.
Right. So what I was about to say is for garment sewers, those of you who grew up sewing clothes, you were definitely taught to always pre-wash for garments, right? And the reason for that is because you don't want if you stitch a garment before you washed your fabric and then washed it, like that seam on your shoulder wouldn't be a nice flat seam. After you washed it, it would start to bunch, right? So for something like this, a tree skirt, if you think you might never wash it, don't need to pre-wash your fabric, right? But if you think you might wash it in the future, I would definitely suggest pre-washing the fabric. And in this case, there isn't that much fabric. It's not like you have to pre-wash yards and yards and like, like if you think about, I think most quilters don't pre-wash at this point, and then there's a subset of quilters who are always taught to pre-wash and they still always pre-wash. But like if you're using pre-cuts, that's a problem, right? Like you're not going to pre-wash pre-cut 5-inch squares.
Right.
That would be a pain.
Madness.
And it would ravel and like maybe not even be 5 inches when you were done.
It definitely wouldn't be 5 inches.
Right. So it's like, I think most of us have leaned into the don't pre-wash anything for quilting. But in this case, I would recommend.
It probably is a good idea because it is going to be, I mean, well, if you don't have a real tree, I guess a lot of people don't have real trees anymore, but if it's a real tree, there is going to be water there. So there's a good chance that it could get wet.
My family never had a real tree. And I wonder if it's like an American thing to have real trees as opposed to, well, whoever's watching, if you're not in the US, tell us if you had a real tree or not, because I never had a real tree growing up in Latin America.
Yeah, we've always had real trees.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I even knew you could have real trees because like there's no evergreens in Brazil, right? So
true. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that does make sense. Like in that environment. I mean, I know like at my grandparents, like they would go cut a tree. It wasn't, like you go buy it at a tree stand, like we do in the city. But
yeah.
If you don't have pine trees.
Pulled down some branches off a neighborhood tree, but it wasn't really, it was just like a branch.
Like a Charlie Brown tree, sort of.
Oh yeah. I didn't know about that back then, but yes, it was kind of like
right.
Okay, anyway. So we have the ornaments that we just talked about, and we have these tree skirts. We are giving you all enough time so that you can prep for Christmas. And hopefully have a lovely season that isn't anywhere near. Don't worry, you still got time.
Yeah, a nice handmade Christmas decorations.
Yeah. Did we have anything else that we were intending to mention in this call?
I know Zoo Family, those, if you're in the Zoo Family Black of the Month, those packages went out yesterday. So those will be arriving soon. This month, Stash Society has not gone out yet. Okay. There was a delay getting some of the fabrics, so I'm still waiting for those. I apologize. But those, hopefully it'll be here tomorrow, and I'll get those shipped out.
Which company are you from?
Dear Stella.
Dear Stella.
But yes, hopefully those will be here tomorrow, and I'll get them shipped out as fast as I can. What else do we have? We have String Fling is going to be, that starts this month. Those are going to be shipping soon. So that's exciting.
Yeah, and everyone who's in String Fling will get an email inviting them into the String Fling space inside the community site. I think that email is going to go out on Friday. So keep an eye on your inbox.
Yeah, and then as Sherry mentioned earlier, we have Bagapalooza coming up in November.
Yeah.
Still time to sign up for that.
I think we're probably going to do another live on that retreat because all of us have kind of fallen in love with this book.
Have you made anything? What did you make?
Well, I didn't make anything. I looked at some fabric and I, messed with some stuff. I didn't actually sew anything, but Kim is our social media person. She's making one of the zipper projects from the book, and Jen started another one. And then I have put the bug in Jen's ear. Okay, so let's back up because some people watching may not know what we're talking about. We're going to
start at the beginning.
Quickly segue into this book. Oh, it's backwards. This is the book we're doing the next virtual retreat for. We're calling it Bagapalooza because most of the projects in this book are bags for storage, different kinds of storage. There's zipper bags,
or organization.
Bags, there's vinyl and for the retreat, we're going to have videos for all these different techniques because most of our customers are quilters. Most of us are not super comfortable putting in a zipper or a magnetic closure or even making a buttonhole, right? So as part of the retreat, we will have pre-recorded videos for all the techniques that are covered in the book for all the different projects. And then we've all been making projects from the book. Do you have any of your samples with you?
I have my new one. It's
And
this icicle fabric. I got obsessed with it, as you can see. And so I kind of fussy cut there. And so this is it's just a pouch, but with the vinyl and a zipper so you can see what's in it and not lose your stuff, which is great.
What are you going to use it for?
Oh, I don't know. But let's see. This is the fourth thing I think I've made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I keep making things.
So I think we'll do another live and show off some of the other projects that we've made from the book. My favorite one is the one on the cover, this one with all the pieces. So of course that's the hardest one. Or maybe not the hardest, but the most steps.
Right. It's a lot of steps, but oh yeah, the other one. I was like, what was the fourth thing I made? This was the other one.
Yeah.
This one was a lot of steps too. This one is 3-in-1 pouch or something. So it's got 3 pockets, a second zipper pocket on the inside, plus these 2 big and then 2 little pockets too. So it's like pocket palooza.
So it actually has 5 pockets?
Yeah, but some of them are tiny and don't have closures, but it is technically 5 pockets. But you could put like your needles or something in the tiny ones.
That makes sense. And when it's closed, it's not going to fall out, so that's fine. Yeah.
Correct. I could find the end of the zipper. There we go.
Okay, so I will put the QR code up for Bagapalooza, which is what we just were chatting about. And for sure, this is until mid-November. So there's plenty of time to sign up if you don't yet know your schedule or don't want to commit yet or whatever it is. We'll definitely
It'll definitely come up again. So
yeah, and I think we'll do another live maybe like late October and show all the projects that we've made from the book.
Yeah, by then we'll probably have made them all.
And I planted a bug in Jen's ear, whatever day it must have been yesterday. The drawer looking one, there's a thing where it's like for everybody else, there's a project in the book that is like a box with a drawer inside that you pull out. So that's a box on its own, but there's a project that has like a cover for that.
And it's much bigger than this one.
And I think she should make one big enough to put CJ into. CJ being the dog.
Oh man, my cat Polly would love that too. She's always getting in boxes and she wants to be like closed in and she goes into drawers. Like you open a drawer and she'll jump in and like go all the way to the back.
Yeah, so I just think it would be hilarious to make that box and then like have the video. You're opening it and out pops a dog or a cat.
Yeah.
We're one of our people watching, Nana, whose name is Nancy. She said she's so looking forward to the retreat. So yay. We have about 20 people signed up already. I think we'll probably end up with like 40-ish by the time it actually runs, which is fun because the more people who come, the more you can chat with each other, get to know each other. In past retreats, we've had people be like, oh, let's share our Instagram handles. And they all like started hanging out with each other. In one case, they actually met. One of them was like, she lives in wherever she lives. And then one of the other members was visiting that place. And then they hung out and like had lunch.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
I don't think I knew that. That's great.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that might be it for today. We will be back next week. We do this every week at 6:30 on Tuesday. 6:30. I said it out loud and I heard it. And then I was like, is that even right?
It is great.
So if you like our silliness, please subscribe. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, click that like button because that really does help us with our reach and with people finding out about us. And we appreciate it very much. If you want links to the things we spoke about, instead of using the QR codes that we showed, the links are at the bottom in the description of the video. Okay. We'll be back next week with more new stuff and or shenanigans, depending on how things work out. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.